In today's world, we're always looking for ways to reduce our impact on climate change. One way we were trying to do this is by turning to electric powered cars instead of gasoline and diesel engines. Although gasoline is a resource we were trying to get away, is electric really the answer? I'm going to talk about the three main concerns with electric cars that most people do not want to admit. The first one would be range, second one is big expenses, and the final one would be electricity issues. The first one is range. According to DeMuro of 2013, the main disadvantage of electric car ownership concern is range anxiety. That is the fear that you will run out of juice when you're nowhere near a charging station. This turning to an electric car is not a big deal if you're just commuting, 30 miles every day or within town. That's worse gas mileage for a vehicle if you're driving through town. The issue with having an electric car for a road trip is most people's concern. You can't really take your family across the United States because it's not feasible. You don't want to sit there on the side of the road and wait for your vehicle to charge for a few hours. You would have to stop every 2 hours to drive 2 hours. That just wouldn't make any sense. According to the U.S. Department of Energy of 2015, range is typically limited to 60 to 120 miles on a full charge, although there are a few models that can go 200 to 300 miles. Again, that's not great if you're wanting to take your family across the United States. You'll still have to take your gas burning van or whatever vehicle it is you're trying to fit your family into to take that vacation every year. The next issue is big expenses. The thing most people don't think about is the battery. The battery doesn't last as long as an engine in a car does. Although it's not nearly as expensive, it's still pretty costly. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, the large battery packs are expensive and may need to be replaced a few times. So, say the average engine right now goes for about 150,000 miles. You would need to change 2 to 3 of these batteries inside of a car, and that's not very practical at all. According to Asia Pacific Economics, you'll need to allocate a part of your earnings as well for the payment of your monthly electric bill, and then on top of that, you're going to have to buy a charging station for your house, which those are not expensive. There are quite a bit of perks the government tries to get people to buy more electric cars, so they give you money off on things like this because they're looking for a renewable resource that we can use. Right now, we use the Nissan Leaf as an example. According to Mother Earth News, the Nissan recently priced a new battery pack for the Leaf at $5,499. That's not including taxes or install fee. If you're doing this every 60 to 70,000 miles, if you can get that out of it, that becomes pretty costly. After about 2 of those, you're paying more for 2 new battery packs than you would for a whole new car. So throwing the whole car out would be more sensible as far as price wise, but we need the battery cost to come down first before we jump into buying these cars. Otherwise, we're just going to have a whole junkyard full of these cars sitting there when people can go out and buy a new car for the same price as buying 2 new batteries. The last issue is the electricity issues. There are some 26,000 charging stations in the U.S. today. There would be a lot more if installing them didn't require the expense and annoyance of tearing up concrete, stringing lines, getting all the right permits, according to Davies. A lot of the issues are also everybody wants to go to electric cars because we're trying to save the environment and have a more sustainable environment by putting this electricity inside of our cars. We're stealing power from most of our power plants around here are coal or anything that's bad for the environment. So really, you're just going in circles there. The way that would make this the best is by going out and doing, or like trying to get your power source from wind energy or hydro energy type power plants, and then it wouldn't be so bad of an impact on our environment. In conclusion, I'm not really saying electric cars aren't the answer, but as of right now, they're not quite where they need to be. We need to continue looking into ways to produce power more efficiently before we jump into electric cars. The recycling of them is just as bad for the environment as driving your gas burning vehicle.